Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Kara from astrokara.com, and I want to talk to you today about our upcoming Taurus new moon. There are a lot of energies that are available for us, a lot that's going to be happening, and I want to try to focus in on just a few of the aspects that are going on and see how we can work to use them to our advantage. I consider myself a personal astrologer. We as astrologers can create these forecasts and understand that these energies are available to the collective, and we're all going to be feeling them on some level as a group of people. But my focus is on you personally and how these energies are affecting you and how you can maximize them and use them to create change in your own life. So my goal is to help you understand your own chart better, and then to understand how to track the transits and how to use this energies, like I said, to use the energies to your advantage. So I've been doing on Facebook, you can follow me on Facebook at AstroKara by Thrivuary. I have a AstroKara group on there if you'd like to join. And I have been doing some live streams. I actually just started on Monday when the moon was in Aries. We're working to track the transits. We're working to look how the moon impacts us as it moves through the zodiac. So if you'd like to join in, I'm doing live streams about every couple days when the moon moves signs and talking a little bit about how we might be feeling during those days. And then if you would like to interact with me, bring your chart, and we can look at where in your life is it impacting you and how you can maximize those energies, like I mentioned. So let's get into the Taurus new moon. So let's start with this idea of what a new moon represents. The new moon is a dark period. It's a time when we've been planted underground, or we've planted something. We've planted a seed, an idea, a goal, a wish, a new intention. And now it is a time of waiting, a period of stillness and being in wisdom of knowing that there's something happening under the surface. Taurus season is the time to slow down. It's a time to go inward. It's a time when we deepen our roots. As I mentioned, that intention, that goal, that idea that's been planted is now taking root. It's becoming fixed in its environment. The new moon is when the sun and the moon are aligned from the perspective of Earth. There's no reflection because the moon does not have its own light source, as opposed to the full moon when it's fully reflecting the sun. So the new moon is the beginning. It is a time of new ideas. Like I said, the new intention, the new seeds being planted. The sun and the moon are aligned and therefore have the same intention of whatever sign they're in. So let's talk about what Taurus represents. Taurus relates to needs, survival, and it's where we place value and worth. And traditional astrology may tell you that Taurus is all about money and resources. And yes, this is true, because we need those things currently to survive. But it goes beyond the physical manifestation of money. It is the earth. It is the environment. It is everything that grows. It is us, and it is our value, and where we have our own sense of self-worth, how we relate to ourselves at our innermost core, and where we find those needs, those essential emotional needs that we have, that we need to feel fulfilled. Self-care seems to be a big buzzword these days, but I want to offer it this way. There is a difference between narcissistic self-love There is a difference between true humility and egoism. Ultimately, all of the things that we see and deem as negative stem from an underlying wound that has to do with disconnection and lack of self-love. Wherever we did not receive the love that we needed when we were growing up, those parts of us, ourselves, that we had to hide away, that we thought were not worthy to be loved, those are the parts of ourselves now that we find that we have a hard time loving within our own self. So it's about learning to get back in touch with those parts of ourselves in order to truly love who we are and understand our innate value and worth. What does the sun in Taurus teach us? So every year the sun moves through the zodiac about a month at a time, and the month that it spends in Taurus is a time for us to slow down. It gives us this energy of reconnecting to something deeper. What does the moon in Taurus teach us? The moon spends a couple days in Taurus every month. It gives us a feeling and a reminder to reconnect to our comfort zone. Now, we talk a lot about the comfort zone and how to break out of it. We talk a lot about how to move past some of those blockages that we seem to be stuck in, right? We talk a lot about moving out of our comfort zone to learn new things. But it's called a comfort zone for a reason, because it gives us comfort. And there is a time to come back to it, to return to it, and slow down and be present in it. The North Node is currently transiting Taurus and almost to the end. I've been talking about this for a while, as are many other astrologers. So a recap. The South Node in Scorpio, which is opposing the North Node in Taurus, we always have to look at our polarities whenever we're looking at any archetype. So I'm focusing on the sign of Taurus and what that means, but it is not without understanding that Scorpio is inherently a part of it. With the South Node transiting Scorpio for the last year and a half, it's been about confronting the past, letting go of what no longer serves your highest and best good, meaning your evolution, what you're moving toward in this life. The North Node in Taurus has been asking us to remember our worth and rediscover the power of our own sovereignty, that we have everything within us to meet our own needs. Uranus has been transiting Taurus for a while now. This is something that we have been definitely feeling collectively, and then of course each of us have been experiencing it in our own way individually, which is the sense of individuation. Uranus brings sometimes sudden, sometimes shocking breakthroughs, and it brings us ideas and understanding of whatever sign that it's in. So in Taurus, again, it's about that sense of self-worth. So what has Uranus been bringing to you for the last few years? New insights about how you see yourself within your family, within other groups. And how do you find your own sense of uniqueness in that space? Mercury just recently stationed direct in Taurus after its retrograde period. So are you now experiencing some new sense of clarity? Have you developed some new thought patterns? Or what has it brought you during these last few weeks while it's been in retrograde? Mercury represents our mental space. It is our left brain. It's how we logically think and absorb information from within our environment. In Taurus, it's asking us again, how do we see ourselves? what are the opinions that we carry about who we are? And what opinions of others do we let affect our own sense of self? This leads into what I want to talk about next, which is Jupiter. Jupiter is entering Taurus, and it will stay there for the next year. Jupiter in Taurus is bringing us abundance, is bringing us gifts, or at least that's the opportunity. I love this picture because it speaks to me a lot about the combination of Mercury and Jupiter. It's just a perfect representation to me. On the left is the logical thought processes and the very specific step-by-step ways of doing things. That is Mercury. The right is more whimsical and a little artistic and open and flowy. That is our right brain. That is Jupiter, which is connected to our intuition. But it also speaks to how we think. So if Mercury is our mental process of taking in information from our environment and labeling things and words and communication, and Jupiter is about our belief systems and our way of seeing the world, how do those two things interact? Because we're always seeing things through our own lens. We're always perceiving things through our own senses. That is our Jupiter. What is our sense of the world? What is the lens that we see the world through? So if Jupiter is our belief patterns and how we think about things, and Mercury is our opinions and how we label and how we communicate, let's put those together because they're both in a new phase conjunction now in Taurus, as Mercury has just recently stationed direct. So Mercury ahead of Jupiter is saying, I'm going on a new quest. I want to begin to think differently. Jupiter just finished its year-long transit through Aries, where it was picking up this momentum to believe that something new is possible. Where are you experiencing those thought processes that are changing? The thoughts that come to you that you know are no longer working for you, that don't support you anymore. They don't support your cosmology anymore. The way you see the world is different now because you are different now. This Mercury-Jupiter conjunction is in what we call a T-square to Pluto in Aquarius and Mars in Cancer. They are in an opposition, which then creates the T-square that points to this Jupiter and Mercury. So let's talk about the Mars-Pluto for just a moment. It can feel like a tug of war because it's Pluto's power dynamics, Pluto's transformative power opposing the initiative that Mars wants to take. Pluto is the evolutionary transformation. It is the necessary elimination of what does not belong in order for something new to come out of it. It is the literal phoenix, death and rebirth, opposing Mars, our instinctual drive to just do something, to have this desire and just want to do it. So how many times do you sit in your own mental space and fight with yourself over what it is that you're going to do or what it is that you want to do? When you say, yes, I want to do this thing, but what is that but? What is it that you're coming against that you feel or think is more powerful than you? That's the energy that we have here, this back and forth. So how do we work with it? What can we use? How can we use this energy to make some changes, make some necessary changes in our life? Let's start with Pluto and Aquarius. As I mentioned, Pluto is about the transformation. The Aquarius energy is about that individuation. It's about recognizing what it is that you have within you that is unique and different, that makes you special, that makes you able to do the things that you want to do. Mars in Cancer. Let's talk about that for a moment. Remember I mentioned about the comfort zone and how sometimes it's good to be in the comfort zone, but yet that we're always pushing to move out of it, to learn something new. So Mars in Cancer, it feels a little stuck. It wants to move, but it's in that comfort zone. Mars in Cancer wants to break out of that comfort zone, but it's important to understand where our comfort zone is. And that comes back to Venus. Venus is also in Cancer right now, and it's in a closing phase to Mars. Venus is associated with Taurus, so it's influencing everything that I just talked about. All of those planets, Uranus, Mercury, Jupiter, the Sun, the Moon, are being influenced right now by Venus. Venus in Cancer wants safety. It wants security. It needs attention. It needs affection. It needs us to pay attention to what we need. So where in your worth story are you closing out the sense of projection? Where are we projecting that things and people external to ourselves are going to meet our needs? Where do we project that someone else will be able to fulfill and tell me and validate for me and show me and care for me enough for me to feel safe? How do we create that sense of safety for ourselves within ourselves? What is it that we need to let go of? I know you feel it. There's stuff that has been coming up to the surface of your psyche, of your mental space, that is showing you this is not something that you can continue to think about or believe about yourself if you want to move into a new space. If you want to reach those goals, if you want to make those changes in your life, if you want to have the kind of relationships that are fulfilling, if you want to have the career or the business that takes you where you want to be, those thought patterns, those belief systems that you have about the way you see yourself in the world, something is there showing you that needs to be let go of. And we have to trust Jupiter. We have to have faith, Jupiter, that something greater will come in its place. When I talked about the abundance and the opportunity that Jupiter will bring abundance to the Taurus area of your life, to your self-worth, it only can do that if you make room. We have to make room for abundance. We have to make room. We have to make space in our psyche, in our mental space, for new thoughts to be, for a new sense of self-belief to be. We have to allow it to take root, for those new neural pathways that we're developing as we remind ourselves that we're worthy, as we remember that we have the sovereignty and the ability to make decisions for ourselves. Those new neural pathways are taking root. What are you ready to let grow in a unique, awesome way that is uniquely and unapologetically, authentically you? Welcome back. I hope that brought you a little bit of value and helped you understand a little bit about the energies that we're going to be working with for at least the next couple of weeks, and even into the rest of the year. I'll bring some of the bigger transits to you a little bit more as we progress through the summer. But I did want to mention that I am available for readings. I do half an hour and 1 hour readings if we meet via Zoom live. I also do something called an ebook, which is a natal chart reading, or I also do some birthday readings. That's actually on special right now, and some other types of readings by digital format that if you want it in written form that you can refer back to. The live I always recommend for a full chart reading, just because it's where we get connected and we are, being able to make those correlations together. But of course, if you just want a simple written reading where you want your placements and the definitions of those things and how it interacts and relates to you, then by all means do the ebook. But I do have a couple specials going on right now. You can go to my website, astrocera.com, and check those out. One is for the solar return, which is a birthday reading. You can do it for yourself or you can gift it. They are on sale right now. And then I also have a special coupon code you can use, Venus, all capital letters, to do a 30-minute transformational session to focus on your Venus needs. I started that special for Mother's Day, and I'm extending it through the rest of the month. So if you are interested in working with me, but you're not sure about what to book or what is it that I even do, I also have a button on the top of the website that says free consultation. So if you book a session, if you're not ready to book a session with me, but you are interested in seeing how I might be able to help you, you can click that, and it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. It's just either a phone call or a quick Zoom to just get to know what your needs are, to see if I could potentially help you. So until next time, take care.